DC20. I'm Jeff Rimmer. Garden in Boston, and the Boston Bruins and the Canadiens are scoreless first period in Boston. Patrick Roy in goal tonight for the Montreal Canadiens, and in goal for the Bruins is Réjean Lemelin. Remember, the Boston Bruins leading these 2 games. Back with more, and in fact, Mike Fornes and Al Koken highlighting the first period.
Theaters.
The Capitals lead the Devils 2-1 at the end of 1 period of play at the Meadowlands. Mike Fornes and Al Koken welcoming you back along with Jeff Rimmer to our DC20 Stanley Cup coverage. Along with Jeff Rimmer to our DC20 Stanley Cup coverage tonight. Well, Washington getting on the board twice after the Devils had scored, and that has put the Caps right into this game with a lot of life.
Well, the Capitals almost had a power play situation, but before the penalty could officially be blown and the Caps get the extra man on the ice, David Christian makes a terrific play. Hatcher, though, starts everything. Michael Pivonka then picks up the loose puck. Look at that great shot. David Christian blows by Sean Burke. That brought the Capitals right back immediately. Remember, New Jersey, as Mike mentioned, had jumped ahead on a power play goal that they're now crediting to Tom Kerbers. We thought it went off Scott Stevens' stick. It will go to Tom Kerbers. And then the Capitals added more to it. And Ivan Corvo does a little haunting of his old junior teammate, Sean Burke. You watch how Corvo is going to break up the ice. Now, we told you that Corvo had been tipping his teammates to shoot low, particularly on the stick side to Burke. That's exactly where Ivan Corvo puts it. Burke doesn't come up with it cleanly. It's rolling towards the net, and Peter Sundstrom helps finish it off, knocking in the goal, answering back for a little of what his brother did here in Game 3.
Caps outshoot the Devils 15-9 during the first period. They're still on the power play. Before we start play-by-play of period number 2, here's Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Mike. And I thought the key of that first period from a Washington Capitals perspective had to be the fact that after the Kerbers goal, we saw the Caps come back to tie the game just 43 seconds later. And that tie the game set the stage for the go-ahead goal. But now into period number 2, and to bring you the play-by-play here on DC20, let's rejoin Mike Fornes and Al Koken.
All right, thank you very much, Jeff. To also commend Pete Peters for a pretty strong job. That only goal, the only goal he allowed, really couldn't see, and it was also a deflection in front of him from his own defenseman. Sean Burke had a couple big saves. I think of the one that Larry Murphy put on him, and Burke made a spectacular save on, but once again was giving up some rebounds, and the Capitals were able to take advantage just a little bit. Well, they still, if they continue to rush that net, particularly with some power play work, take advantage even more. 1 minute and 9 seconds on the penalty that remains. It was called at the end of the period to Brendan Shanahan for slashing. So we'll have our second Circuit City power play contest. David Sullivan of Gaithersburg, Maryland, has chosen Dave Christian as the Caps player to score. If David Christian scores, David Sullivan of Gaithersburg receives a video or stereo unit, courtesy of Circuit City.
So the official scoring on the Devils goal, we had it at first McLean from Kerbers and Sundstrom. And now that has been changed. It's Kerbers, his second of the playoffs, from Sundstrom and Johnson on the power play. And we're underway with period number 2. The Capitals have the man advantage out there. At the Washington line, it's Michael Pivonka ahead for Larry Murphy. Murphy up for Dave Christian. Loiselle gets help from Velishek and pushes it out to the Washington zone. Here's Scott Stevens, over now to Murphy. Back again to Scott Stevens. Stevens rushes to the line, gets inside the Devils zone, carries it down the left wing boards, and fires wide of Christian into the corner. Here's Pivonka to set up. Michael Pivonka. Back to the point. Murphy again over to Pivonka. Christian behind the net. Misses Pivonka on the comeback. It comes over to Murphy. To the left point for Scott Stevens. At the side of the goal, Christian tries to tip it in front for Gustafson, but Burke is back of the goal. He's being challenged there by Pivonka. The puck played back to the point. Larry Murphy fires a shot, and Burke had problems with that, deflecting it into the air, and then Velishek takes it down. He starts it out. The penalty is over. Shanahan is back on the ice, and the Devils are at full strength. In the corner, McLean puts pressure on. Now Ridley tries to get it out, brings it over to Larry Murphy. Stevens still tied up with McLean. Gartner tries to deke his way into the corner. It comes over to Mark Johnson of the Devils, leads it to center ice for Wolanin. But Kevin Hatcher takes over for the Capitals. Leaves two Devils on the ice in his wake. Carries it across the line. Hatcher into the corner. Now to Greg Adams. Tries to center it in front, and Ridley is dumped on the play. Back to center comes Ledyard. Over to Mike Gartner. Gartner lobs it back inside the New Jersey zone. Here's a centering pass, and Ridley fans on an attempt to fire from close range. Now Gartner a shot, and a kick save made by Sean Burke. Back to the point, and McLean clears it all the way down. Good scoring chance for the Capitals. Burke making a save on another opportunity. Ridley could not get enough wood on it. Gartner back to his own line. He's knocked down by Perry Anderson. There's going to be a penalty call here against New Jersey. A delayed call. Out of the nets comes Pete Peters. The Capitals put a sixth attacker on the ice, but Maley touches the puck at center. And it's going to be 2 minutes for tripping. That'll give the Caps the power play. There's a break in the action with a score. Washington 2, New Jersey 1.
Pretty good pressure on Sean Burke and forced Burke into some big saves. Back on the ice again.
Here's Cirella now for the Devils. Backs it up to Randy Velishek. Doug Brown is on, along with Claude Loisel in the Devils' penalty-killing effort. Gustafsson steals the puck. Throws it rink wide for Dave Christian. He slaps it into the corner. Cirella's back after it. Winds it off the boards to the point, but Galley keeps it in. However, the Devils take the puck. Here comes Loisel across the line on his backhand. Flips it to the side of the Capitals' goal, and Peters sets it up there for Dave Christian. 1:25 left in the Capitals' power play. Perry Anderson for tripping at 2:30 of the first period. That's the Devils' penalty call. Here's Hatcher at the right point. Winds and fires, and it's deflected wide. Now Galley chases it, puts it behind the net. Gustafsson with the puck off the boards. Hatcher tees it up, now tries to pass it, and Pavanka can't get it to Christian. It's stolen and cleared all the way down. The Devils fans thought there should have been a penalty called against Washington on that play for tripping. Here comes Hatcher rushing to center. He's across the line. Into the corner. Ridley goes behind the net. Caps still in possession. Dale Hunter back to the point. Hatcher a slap shot. Blocked by Sundstrom. And cleared all the way down the ice. Loisel short-handed into the corner. Broken up, and here comes Ridley. Gartner's loose on a breakaway, but he can't get the pass. Gartner was in alone, but could not get the pass. He goes to the corner after it now. And play has been called. I think they're going to call it icing, ruling that Gartner had not touched the puck, and the Devil player got there first. So the face-off, no, it will be an offside pass. So Mike Gartner did get possession, and he was certainly across the line before that puck came across.
You see one of the shots that comes in that Patrick Sundstrom is able to block out a drive by Kevin Hatcher.
I tell you, Sundstrom's doing a lot of things right in this series. 8 big points in game 3. Here he blocks a shot at a crucial point with Hatcher unloading a cannon. Loisel slaps it all the way down. And Stevens goes back to get it. Lead pass. Hunter at center. Across the line. Scott Stevens from the red line dumps it back into the New Jersey zone. Penalty's over. Devils at full strength. Gartner in the corner. Looks for Hunter in front. Takes it behind the goal. Gartner into the corner. Has Bruce Driver right on him. Gartner trying to get free. Brings it over to Ridley. Behind the net, Burke has the puck and sends it off the glass and into the crowd. It is ruled a deflection. And there will be a face-off in front and to the left of Sean Burke, the New Jersey goaltender.
Ron Hogarth ruling that Sean Burke shot the puck and it hit the glass first before it went out. But again, Mike Gartner, the way he's able to work, using the strength that he has along with the great speed. You don't think of him as a real strong player because he's not always involved in the physical play. But Mike Gartner's got some outstanding strength. But I think maybe that balance. He's got that very wide stride. He took power skating lessons when he was a kid, and that allows him not only that great speed, but the tremendous balance and the ability to stay on his skates.
Here comes Maley. Dumps it back inside the Washington zone. Pete Peters clears to the corner for Ledyard. Back to the point. Tom Curvers tries to send it in front of the net, and it's picked up there by Ledyard. Ledyard to the blue line. The Capitals are offside on the play. And now the whistle blows to stop the action.
Well, you can guarantee yourself the best seat available for all the Cap home playoff games by giving Cap sales reps a call right now. They'll tell you how putting down a deposit on a season ticket or a partial plan for next year will entitle you to the best seats available for all the home playoff games this year. Those sales reps are standing by right now at their office. The number 386-7000, 386-7000.
The Capitals lead 2-1. We're in the second period of the game. John Burke drops it off for Tom Curvers. Out to center ice. Hatcher drives it right back in. Bruce Driver chased by Greg Adams. Off the boards for Aaron Broughton. Now Gould keeps it in. We've got a slashing penalty coming up here against Washington.
It's going to be on Greg Adams. It was a one-handed slash, but a slash nonetheless. New Jersey will have the power play when we return. The Capitals lead 2-1.
The 88s are here. The 1988 Hyundais are in stock now with prices that start at just $53.95. And nobody sells Hyundais for less.
5:37, the time of the slashing call to Greg Adams. Not that Ron Hogarth is looking to even things up, but he wants to prove to the Devils if he's going to call things tight on their part. Remember, they had 3 minor penalties in a row. He's going to also do the same thing for the Capitals if they give him an opportunity, and Greg Adams, by swinging the stick, certainly did.
Adams caught for slashing at 5:37. Devils with their first power play of this period. Here's Muller. Kick to the point. Driver keeps it in. Curvers is open. He fires, and Peters with a stick save. Now back to the corner. Up the boards, and Bob Gould tries to send it out of the zone. It does not leave, and here's Hatcher poking at it. Now gets it ahead to Bobby Gould. It's a 2-on-1 Washington break. Gould with Miller. Gould walking in. A fake, a shot, and a save by Burke. Back come the Devils. Broughton on the right wing. Kelly Miller steals and clears it out to center ice. Bruce Driver starts across the line. Scott Stevens tries to bounce it out of the zone. Kirk Muller keeps it in. The New Jersey captain, Muller, to Curvers. He shoots, and it's just wide of the mark. Back again to Bruce Driver. To Broughton. To Driver, number 23 for the Devils. A bouncing shot. Pad save by Peters. Off the boards, and Miller sends it out of the zone and all the way back inside New Jersey ice. 40 seconds left in the penalty call to Adams. Devils continue the power play pressure, and here comes Curvers to Wolanin. Up to Mark Johnson. At the blue line, Danico walks in. Over to McLean. Hatcher's down and chases him to the corner. McLean walking in front to Johnson. Back to the point. Wolanin over to Johnson. In front, Danico with a wonderful opportunity to score and couldn't get enough wood on it. Here's Gustafson to empty the zone now with 5 seconds left in the penalty to Adams. Sundstrom short-handed inside the New Jersey zone. Capitals changing on the fly. Wolanin back after it. Penalty call's over. Greg Adams goes to the bench and is replaced by Kelly Miller. This will be icing against New Jersey as Ledyard goes back to touch it with 12 minutes, 12 seconds to go in the second period. And the draw comes back inside the New Jersey zone.
How about the play from Sean Burke? What a spectacular save. This is the type of goaltending you have to get if you're to advance to the championship round of a playoffs. Here are the Capitals with a chance to really break the game open. A backbreaker would be a shorthanded goal like the Devils scored against the Caps the other night at the end of the second period. Gould comes in. Driver takes the pass away. Holds it, gets in a good position. He's right out in front. Tries to beat Burke high to the glove hand side. You know, Sean Burke is one of those type of goaltenders who gives you some room and then takes it away at the last second. He kind of coils himself out. You look like you got a lot of room, and he takes it away from you at the last moment.
In front of the goal, Burke has to scramble a bit, but is able to hang on as Ridley is pushed in the goal crease by Claude Loiselle.
And questioning Ron Hogarth, why no holding call coming? Claude Loiselle, though, doing the job, just tying the man up in front. It's a pretty scary prospect for the Washington Capitals if you think about the future in the Patriot division. If Sean Burke proves to be for real, you know Ron Hextall will come back. John Van Beesbrook and Kelly Rudy aren't going anyplace. That's why you've got to get that great goaltender. Capitals feel they've got some young goaltenders with Alain Raymond, Sean Simpson, and Jim Ribnak, and a good job still with Pete Peters and Clint Malarchuk available for a couple of years. But you think about the bright future that the Devils have with Sean Burke, only 21, Ron Hextall just a few years ahead of that, and still in their mid-20s, Van Beesbrook and Kelly Rudy.
Well, it's like somebody said the other night, would you like to right now sit down and try to pick the teams that will make it in the Patrick Division playoffs next year? You have to admit, it's a rather challenging proposition.
You know, it's unbelievable. You got to think what Pittsburgh's going through. The desperation look for a goaltender, and they passed by Sean Burke twice in 1986. Picked Lee Giffen on the second round, a right winger with a good shot, who's yet to really make his mark in the National Hockey League. And then right after Pittsburgh took Giffen, in comes the New Jersey Devils, already loaded with goaltenders at that point. They came up with a potential great one in Sean Burke.
Here's Ridley at the blue line, pokes it out to center ice, and now Verbeek takes charge for New Jersey. Back to Randy Velishek. He dumps it inside the Washington zone, and here's Murphy behind the net. 11:30 to play, second period. Ridley out to Miller. Across the blue line, right wing pass to Gartner. Gartner centers it. Blocked by Velishek. In front, it bounces away from Murphy, or rather from Miller's stick. And Murphy has to hustle back to catch Broughton. Stevens rubs him out along the sideboards. Muller breaks in. Murphy's right on him. Larry Murphy challenging Kirk Muller. The puck comes to the corner. Here's Ridley back to take it. Winds it off the glass, and it bounds to center ice. Tom Curvers with the lone New Jersey goal in this game. Off the skates of Miller out to center ice. Here comes Christian, a breakaway. The Devils caught in the line change. A deke, a shot, and a goal! Dave Christian taking advantage of an embarrassing New Jersey mistake on the line change. The Capitals go ahead 3-1.
And you want to talk about another break? I don't think David Christian ever gets the shot off. I think he's stick handling and possibly misplays the puck. And Burke, reacting to what Christian's stick is doing, doesn't get the puck. Now watch it right here. Joe Cirella is the guy who's trying to get off the ice. There you see Cirella. Now see the other player jump on. Now Cirella thinks he's coming back. And watch how both of them go to the bench. This opens everything up for David Christian. Now watch the final part of the play. Does Christian really get a shot away? No, he's trying to stick handle and try and move it to the forehand side, and instead can't come up with it, but Burke reacts to the fake. What a break in two directions for the Washington Capitals to jump on top by 2 in this hockey game.
Here's an offside pass to stop play, and the faceoff comes back into the Washington zone.
And how about this for another factor, Mike Forns? David Christian, 2 goals tonight. He had another goal in Game 3. Talk about the Capitals' big goal scorers getting on track. Well, David Christian is showing signs of doing exactly that.
Christian will be credited with his 4th goal of the playoffs at 9:11 of the second period. We're still awaiting the announcement on the assists. The puck to center ice. Here's Curvers dumping it back inside the Washington zone. Sundstrom back to the corner for Hatcher. Stolen puck. Mark Johnson fires wide. Now Corriveau into chase Curvers. Bumps him. Greg Smith to the blue line, but not out. Here's a shot. McLean hits Pete Peters right in the face mask. Another drive by Mark Johnson. That hit the goal post. And the Capitals attack Mark Johnson. Curvers jumps in on top of Corriveau. Pete Peters is down on the ice, flat on his back, and I don't even know if he's conscious at this point. Trainer Stan Wong has been hustled out there. Scott Stevens came on to bring Wong to the bench, and Ron Hogarth in a hurry to make sure Stevens goes back to the Washington bench.
Boy, it was Peter Sundstrom who went right after Mark Johnson, claiming that Johnson shot after the whistle blew, but in a case like that, in this building, I don't know if you can hear much. And now Corriveau is back up, but Curvers, I think McLean wants to have a little more with Dale Hunter. I don't necessarily fault Mark Johnson. It's tough to hear anything in this building. That whistle must have blown, but Peter Sundstrom coming He thinks to the defense of his teammate, and I guess you got to give him credit for that, but I don't know if you can really blame Mark Johnson for firing when he sees the goaltender down. If you don't hear the whistle, awful tough to stop your shot. Now we will see if this heats things up. There you see how that high drive has completely knocked Peters out. He is flat on his back, and then Peter Sundstrom went after Mark Johnson, who whistled that last shot in there.
You know, there's some real concern here. Not only is Stan Wong out, but the Devils head trainer, Chris Ibsen, has come out as well. He had just as good a view of it. I think when you get both trainers out on the ice, you know there's a good possibility something's wrong.
Yes, I finally saw Pete Peters move a little bit. He moved that glove hand just a little bit, or the blocker pad hand.
Pete Peters struck in the face mask by a wrist shot. And then some pushing and shoving coming in the aftermath as the Capitals were upset with Mark Johnson taking a shot after Peters was down and possibly unconscious.
And now a couple of doctors coming on the ice. The Capitals have a full complement of physicians here as well. Now, one of their physicians, Dr. Frank Melagrana, is out on the ice. Clint Malarchuk, understandably, is going to loosen up. Can't imagine Pete Peters at least remaining in the game right now. He may be back, and now they're calling for a stretcher. That is unbelievable. I wonder if Pete hit his head when he fell. And if it was just a shot, he's got pretty good protection with that birdcage face mask. But what a blow this is going to be to the Washington Capitals. Pete Peters had been playing a strong game so far, and Brian Murray talking to Clint Malarchuk, and the type of help that Peters has been getting in front would have to bode well for Malarchuk, but coming in cold in the situation and coming off a game where he did not play well in Game 3, it's going to be an interesting turn of events here, as well as we are waiting the official penalty calls. 3 Capitals in the penalty box, and at least a couple New Jersey Devils, but I don't know if Mark Johnson is in there, and if that's the case, I would think Washington may get some extra time because Sundstrom, Hunter, and Corvo are the Capitals that are in the box.
Well, certainly whenever you're talking about that area around the goal, you've got to be concerned about hitting your head on the ice. You've got to be concerned about hitting your head on the goalposts or on the crossbar. But I think it was the shot that did the damage to Peters. Now let's watch it again here. You see that wrist shot coming up, and you see Peters' head right there. I think he's out.
It looked like it, but then you wonder, maybe when he's stunned, does he hit himself hard when he lands back on the ice? I would agree with you. It looked to me initially that he was just blanked right off that shot.
Here come the penalty calls.
Number 15, John McLean. Each 2 minutes for roughing. Time of the penalty, 9:42.
Well, I got Curvers and McLean for roughing, but 3 Capitals in there, I think, for roughing as well.
Number 12, Peter Sundstrom. And the Devils, number 5, Tom Curvers. Number 15, John McLean. Time of all penalties, 9:42.
So the New Jersey Devils will have a power play and a chance to go after an ice-cold Clint Malarchuk. As Pete Peters is being helped off the ice, they have got the stretcher out there. He is now just sitting up just a little bit. And plenty of medical attention. Doctors from both sides, from the New Jersey Devils and the Washington Capitals. But as they called out the penalties, roughing all the way around, but 3 roughing minors for the Caps, 2 roughing minors for the New Jersey Devils. So New Jersey behind by 2 now, with 10:18 left in the period, and a golden opportunity to shatter the confidence of the Washington Capitals on the power play and get something by Malarchuk early. Now the flip side, of course, if Malarchuk can come in and make some key saves on this power play, what great confidence he gives himself and the team as well. There's a break in the action. The Capitals lead the Devils. Teammates out there trying to help get Pete Peters lifted. And remember, it's going to be an extra job with all that bulky goaltender equipment to lift him cleanly. The other thing you don't want to do in a situation like this, if there is any damage, you get a look at the mask. It's tilted on its side. Tough to see if there's any bend in the front. Get that strong wire birdcage effect, and it hit Pete Peters flush.
I wonder, Al, if it even hit him in the cage part. I wonder if it might have struck him right on the forehead, right in the middle, right on the exact front of that helmet. And I mean, a helmet is certainly designed to protect, but you have to admit a player that's a forward or a defenseman isn't going to depend on it for protection on a play like that. That's normally just to protect your head if you get hit against the boards or against the glass or from sticks.
The other thing here, they have him completely immobilized. They put that metal gurney underneath him before lifting him up onto that rolling stretcher and have him strapped. So they do not want Pete Peters to make any movements, which says possible, you know, they're worried about some sort of neck trauma. Not to let him move the neck, the spine at all. And they've really got his head completely secured as well. Now very gently lifting him up, get him off the ice. So this does look serious for Pete Peters, although I'm sure wife Laurie watching back in Washington and all the worry the family must be going through. Also have to realize what a tough character Pete Peters is, and a guy who has certainly bounced back in situations like this in his career. And now the Capitals talking to Ron Hogarth to discuss exactly what the penalty calls and why. And Clint Malarchuk now get a little warm-up time. He's not out there because Pete Peters was pulled. He was out there from an injury, but I think they're going to allow that.
So Clint Malarchuk takes over. If you're just joining us, Pete Peters has been struck in the face mask by a wrist shot and has been taken from the ice on a stretcher. We can now see, I can see him being taken down the hall, so apparently they're moving him toward the Washington dressing room, and I believe the doctor's room is the other direction. So they're either on their way to the dressing room or they're on their way right out of this building. I think that's probably a better possibility.
Also the direction of the ambulance. When we go back here, middle of the season, Clint Malarchuk coming in to replace Pete Peters, did a magnificent job, and that really turned things around for Pete Peters on his long winning streak, that stretch run. Pete Peters coming in and doing a great job of in relief of Clint Malarchuk. So some history on the side of Clint Malarchuk in this building and in this type of situation. Let's see what Jim Schoenfeld can cook up. Johnson, Sundstrom out there. Driver and Wolanin. Some jostling with Brendan Shanahan, I think, on the right side.
There's no warm-up provided for any situation like this, and Clint Malarchuk has to come in cold. He, of course, started the game in Game 3 and was pulled in favor of Peters, then came back to play the third period. Gustafson tries to sit on the puck here, but it's moved back to the Devils' line. Critical shots will be those first couple here, and the Devils will be trying to test Malarchuk right away before he gets a chance to get real warmed up. The rule's that way because it takes a long time to warm a goalie up, and coaches used to make the changes just to stall the game. Here's the deflection, and Malarchuk makes a save as Mark Johnson tips it toward the net, and now the puck fired into the crowd.
Boy, is that huge in a couple ways. Not only is it Clint Malarchuk's first shot, but remember, last night the goal scoring was started by Mark Johnson on a deflection and made Malarchuk look bad in certain regards later on. But Malarchuk quick to stand up to him there and showing some of the good quickness he has got. That has got to be a big boost in confidence. And now Bob Gould seems to be a little shaken up, and because Stan Wong is still attending to Pete Peters, Doug Shear comes out. I think maybe the puck possibly hitting Bobby Gould, and Gould heading over to the bench. Now I think not just the puck, maybe they're Brian Murray trying to say that it was a stick that hit Bobby Gould in the face, and arguing with Wayne Bonney that there should be a call against New Jersey for it. And they're getting a high sticking call, and they think that Bobby Gould is cut. I think Brian Murray asking for extra time, making it a 5-minute major. Well, Brendan Shanahan takes the New Jersey Devils off the power play, and that could be a big factor with a cold goaltender. Watch the deflection from Johnson. Slid right through the slot, and there is Malarchuk. Remember, in Game 3, that deflection from Johnson went right through the pads. Here he tried to direct it in that same area. This time Malarchuk squeezes it.
Malarchuk another save and leans to his right. Again holds on to stop play.
Your attention, please, to Dr. Simpson. Please report to the Capitals dressing room.
Now they're paging yet another doctor. They already have several of the Washington team doctors, the Devils team doctors, and they're asking for yet another doctor, and you can only suppose that he may be some sort of a specialist, that they're going to have look in on Pete Peters to make sure that he is getting every opinion possible after being struck in the face. Here's a drive that is deflected wide by Gustafson. Tipped out to center ice. Cirella pushes it back to the New Jersey line, and now Bruce Driver goes back to get it. The Capitals lead the game 3-1. 9:20 to play, second period. Mark Johnson for the Washington line. Kevin Hatcher deflects it into the corner. Now Gustafson works it free over to Scott Stevens. Clint Malarchuk is in goal for the Capitals. Hatcher across the blue line. Ties up with Patrick Sundstrom. Throws it into the corner. Here's Kelly Miller. Jammed up on the play. Now Dave Christian with the puck. He steps up. Taken wide of the goal, and Burke plays it off the boards out to center ice. Sundstrom picks it up. Charges to the Washington line. Larry Murphy with a poke check to knock it away. The play has been called offside, but there's a minor for hooking coming as well to Mike Gartner. Larry Murphy had things well in hand, but Gartner got his stick in there, and now the Caps are down a skater. There's a break in the action with a score. Washington 3.
Penalties that has plagued the Capitals in this series just taking place with Mike Gartner, the call for hooking. Ryan Murray wanting his players to get the stick on the New Jersey Devils through the neutral zone, and they've done a great job at that. But here Larry Murphy had everything tied up, and Mike Gartner with too much of the stick on Sundstrom. Now 4-on-3 hockey for the New Jersey Devils. I think that'll go for the next 24 seconds. That is the call that Dale Hunter has left in the penalty that he is serving. And it's going to be 4-on-4 for the next 43, or the next 23 seconds after that.
Gustafson works it free from Wolanin out of the zone, and now Wolanin appears to be hurt. The Devil fans are wanting a penalty. Trainer Chris Ibsen comes out to talk with Craig Wolanin. It appeared that Wolanin had taken a stick from a Washington player in the midsection.
Stretching out one of those legs, maybe the right knee got twisted around a little bit as he was pulled down. Let's check in downstairs now with Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Al. We have an update on the condition of Pete Peters. He's now being taken to hospital for precautionary x-rays. Pete obviously knocked out with the force of the shot. He is cut on the forehead with the force of the shot, pushing the mask up against his forehead. So that is a minor cut, but he's being taken to hospital for precautionary x-rays. Coming to, obviously knocked out with a force when his head hit the ice. But fortunately, and for everybody back in Washington, and certainly for the Peters family, Pete's fine. He's conscious and is now being taken to hospital for precautionary x-rays.
Thank you, Jeff. Here's Kevin Hatcher to shoot it back inside the New Jersey zone. Bruce Driver back to take it. Driver starts to center. He's across the line. Back to Ken Danico. He winds, fires, and Malarchuk makes the save and then guards his territory. He's forced to play it. No whistle. Driver keeps it in, but Gustafson sends it out of the zone, and Scott Stevens clears it back to the New Jersey line. 4-on-4 hockey right now. Gustafson goes to the bench, and out comes Bobby Gould. The lead pass skims off Gould's stick and goes all the way down the ice. Here's Burke leading it over to Danico. Penalty about to expire to New Jersey's Brendan Shanahan. He's back on the ice, and now the Devils are at full strength. Washington has 50 seconds to go on Mike Gartner's penalty. Devils on the power play. Shanahan throws it rink wide. A shot. Kick save by Malarchuk. At the side of the net. Muller tried to center. It's cleared back to the corner. Now here's Bruck. Off the boards to the point. Cirella over to Danico. His drive kicked aside, and Bob Gould clears it all the way down the ice. Cirella starts out. Leads it ahead now for Wolanin, who appears to be skating okay. Brings it ahead to Patrick Sundstrom. At the blue line, Ledyard puts it in the corner for Hatcher, and he sends it all the way down. The Devils start out with Sorella leading the attack, and that takes care of the penalty to Gartner. Mike Gartner on the ice, and Washington at full strength. Here's Ledyard. To Sundstrom, right wing side for Mike Gartner. Gartner dekes to the point. A shot by Christian right on, and Burke makes the pad save and couldn't find the rebound. Finally looked right underneath his pad, and there it was, and he covers up to stop play. Let's check in once again with Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Mike. Well, with the situation involving Pete Peters being taken to hospital now, Clint Malarchuk in, the Caps need a backup goaltender. So Sean Simpson, who's been called up from the juniors and, of course, played some pro hockey here at the end of the season, will now back up Clint Malarchuk for the balance of the evening. Back upstairs to Mike and Al.
That's exactly the situation that he's present here for. Of course, Alain Raymond probably ahead of Sean Simpson in the goaltending order of the Capitals' plans right now, but he, of course, is still occupied with the Fort Wayne Komets in the International Hockey League. They're playing against Saginaw in the Turner Cup playoffs. But Sean Simpson is here. Here's a slap shot wide of Malarchuk. That goes into the corner. Conacher back after it. Murphy comes in and knocks Conacher down. Driver with the puck. Works to the goal, but it's stolen by Gustafson. He starts ahead to center ice. Right wing side for Christian. Burke grabs it. Back into the corner for Driver. Here comes Curvers out of the corner. Leads it to center ice. Larry Murphy. Up to Grant Ledyard. Poke check by Doug Brown and sent all the way down. Malarchuk throws it behind the goal. Up the boards for Murphy. Out of the zone to center ice. Velishek to Sorella. Across the line, and here's Maley to the corner. David Maley. Spun around behind the net. Needs help from Perry Anderson. Ledyard shoves him away. And Christian shoots it all the way back to the New Jersey line. 5:10 to go, second period. Capitals leading 3-1. Puck jumps into the Washington bench out of play. There's a break in the action with a score. The Capitals 3, the Devils 1.
5:06 left to play in this second period. The sold-out crowd at the Meadowlands in New Jersey exhorting the Devils on. They trail the Capitals by 2. A 3-1 Washington lead. Al Koken, Mike Forns, and Jeff Rimmer with you on DC20, your superstation for sports.
Greg Smith, a drive that's kicked wide by Burke. The puck to the corner from Ridley. Now back of the net. Mike Gartner goes after, but misses Velishek. And here come the Devils. Patrick Sundstrom to the blue line. Stolen by Mike Ridley. Left wing side for Gartner. He dumps it in behind the goal. Up the boards, and Ridley goes to take it in the corner. Throws it back there for Sorella of New Jersey. He sends it over to McLean. McLean outside the line, and Miller dumps it back in. The Devils send it out to center ice. Kelly Miller. Long shot right on net. Burke to save, and Sorella off the backboards. Velishek ahead to Johnson, gets across the blue line and into the corner for McLean, but the play called back anyway. Offside.
Here comes Sean Simpson wearing number 33. He's skating right now over to the Washington Capitals bench. A little to the right. Picture right now, you can't see him, but he is over there with trainer Stan Wong. He's dressed and ready to go, and there he is. A lot of the Capitals that were not dressed the other night, kind of complaining to their vantage point here at New Jersey, way, way, way on top of all the stands. Well, I guess Sean Simpson kind of
a long way to
now
go,
where he's got a much better seat.
Now, it's different with a goaltender. You can bring a goaltender in because you got to have somebody ready. But the other night when the Capitals had all those defensemen kicked out of the game, they could not get any additional help. They had to go with what their set lineup was. But it's different when you're talking about goaltending. Here's Murphy. Left wing side for Greg Adams. Out to Larry Murphy. Brings it across the blue line. And Verbeek shoots it out of the zone to Muller. Gould over to pick it up for the Capitals. Backhands inside the line, and now a hit right there at center ice. Lou Francischetti and Pat Verbeek are both being signaled to report to the penalty box by referee Ron Hogarth. There's a break in the action with a score. Capitals 3, Devils 1.
This game beginning to heat up just a little bit in terms of the rough stuff. Now roughing calls to Pat Verbeek and Lou Francischetti. Times of those coincidental minors, 16:09. And remember, the last couple games, it's been period 2 where everything seems to have gotten out of control.
Well, New Jersey's had 4 shots on Clint Malarchuk. Ivan Korovo and John McLean start to push and shove. It was McLean who took the shot that knocked out Pete Peters. Here's Wolanin into the corner. Sends it out of the zone to center ice. Ledyard over to Peter Sundstrom. He shoots it back inside the New Jersey end. Here comes Sundstrom to start out. Patrick Sundstrom taken away. It comes to Mark Johnson. Johnson across the blue line. Looks for McLean in the corner. Korovo's right after it. Korovo knocked down on the play. The puck cleared by Hatcher out of the zone. Johnson back at center ice. Right into the skates of Sundstrom. Walks in, tries to get a shot off. It's loose in front of the net. There's a penalty call coming up. Peter Sundstrom and John McLean start to push and shove. And Malarchuk has covered the puck, and that's the bottom line. Patrick Sundstrom being twisted around in there by Lou Francischetti. And now Wolanin tries to get in an extra shove at Dale Hunter.
I think the original call was going to come against Kevin Hatcher. It was, I think, going to be against the Capitals. Now we'll see if New Jersey done a pretty stupid thing and have taken themselves off the power play. Wolanin in the box, Hunter in the box, and I thought it was going to be Kevin Hatcher. Yeah, Hatcher goes in there, so unless it's a double minor to Wolanin, New Jersey will have a power play. Although now Sundstrom goes in there, so there was no question it was going to be a call against the Caps. Although in the continuing parade, you see all the scrambling in front. Now Korovo joins the penalty box. You see how Daneyko shoves Korovo there. Sundstrom getting going out there with Wolanin, and we'll see if there's one more New Jersey player. If it sits right now, the Devils will have a man advantage. There's 3 Capitals again in the box, along with 2 New Jersey Devils on this latest skirmish. Has added more fire to what has been a rough and at times very dirty series.
16:48, the time of the calls here in the second period. Sundstrom and Wolanin for New Jersey, Hatcher and Hunter for the Capitals.
And Ivan Korovo in there also.
Still no time put up on the penalty clocks. Ron Hogarth completing his calls down there to the off-ice officials who are supplied for this series in New Jersey by the New York Islanders. And it looks like New Jersey will have the power play out of it. Here come the calls.
For hooking. Number 32 of Washington, Dale Hunter, receives 2 for roughing. And number 26, Ivan Korovo, 2 minutes roughing. For the Devils, number 6, Craig Wolanin. Number 17, Patrick Sundstrom, each 2 minutes for roughing. Penalties at 16:48.
All right, New Jersey winds up with a power play out of it. And the puck is inside the Capital zone. Here's Driver, a shot. Kick save made by Malarchuk. Back into the corner. Here comes McLean with the puck. Back to the point. Now Curvers at the side of the net, brought in a drive, and it's saved by Malarchuk with his pad. Off the boards to Curvers, and now the net has been moved. Scott Stevens arguing with Ron Hogarth, saying the Devils had done that intentionally, and Hogarth shaking his head no.
Well, Scott shouldn't argue too vehemently because the Capitals get a break. 2 guys wide open, and Clint Malarchuk continues to make spectacular saves since entering this hockey game in relief of Pete Peters, the injury. Look at how much room Broughton has got. Murphy caught up high. Gould, the only other guy back there. Broughton tries between the pads again, and yet another save from Malarchuk. And there you see the shove that Malarchuk gives Broughton. And that is what forces the net off its moorings. And I don't think Scott Stevens should be too upset in that regard, because it stops play and gives the Capitals a chance to regroup, as they were completely out of sync. New Jersey had them buzzing.
Now the Capitals are seeing here a second example of what happens with a goaltender coming in. You know, when you come in and replace a goalie when one guy's getting shelled and getting beaten again and again and again by goals, there's probably only a certain small percentage of time where the team really responds and comes up big for the other guy. Coming in here, seeing your teammate knocked out on a play, Malarchuk is rallying. The Capitals are really scrambling to defend in front of him. And that psychology is working a little differently. Favoring the Capitals. Here's Kerber's a shot and a kick save by Malarchuk. Here's McLean dumping it into the corner. Scott Stevens moves it up the boards, and Gustafson picks it up. Gustafson to center ice. Flips it over Kerber's back inside the Devil zone. Bouncing puck. Burke tracks it all the way, and now Kerber starts out. Thrown past Stevens into the corner. A 3-on-1 results. McLean behind the net, and Muller is pushed out of there by Peter Sundstrom. Here's McLean back to Kerber. He winds, fakes, gives to McLean. His drive is wide. Bruce Driver keeps it in. Back to Aaron Broughton. Broughton with the puck to Driver, a slap shot. Knocked down in front of the net. It hit McLean. Here's another drive. That also hit someone in front of the goal. And the puck cleared all the way back inside the New Jersey zone. And now an offside pass stops play. Only 33 seconds left in the penalty call to Hatcher. Franciscetti is out of the box. So is Verbeek. Unfortunately, although Malarchuk has been making some great saves in the Washington goal, several of those last Devil drives didn't make it to the net.
Well, the last one was stopped by Scott Stevens. Glenn Malarchuk has been given a pretty clear sight line to those shots, but the downside of that is it's really because, not so much because the Capitals are allowing that, it's because the New Jersey Devils are finding a wide open man with their quick passing. They have that Capital box really spinning again, and they continue to throw it and use their point man so well, and are always seem to set themselves up eventually for a wide open clear shot.
Here comes Loiselle out to center ice now for Danico. He dumps it in from center ice. Doug Brown back in the goal for Loiselle, and Stevens muscles in behind the net. Bailey up the sideboard, chased by Larry Murphy. The puck hops into New Jersey bench out of play, and now the sticks come high, and Stevens skates away. They're initially getting involved with Malin.
Renewed pool of Scott Stevens. Sends a message, gives a little shot, and then spins out of there before anybody can take him off the ice. I don't believe that is definitely the Devils' top priority. Now somebody is going to get either a misconduct or an unsportsmanlike conduct. Loiselle heading to the box. Now, if they put Scott Stevens in the box, this is unbelievable. He was so far away from anything. Now they're sending Scott. This is just unbelievable to me. How either guy gets a penalty. They're not even close to each other. So what if they're jawing a little bit at each other? Big deal. As long as they're not making any kind of contact with each other, and as long as the play was not set up for a face-off, why make the call? This is, I think, just ridiculous call from Ron Hogarth. I mean, Loiselle and Stevens had into it for a moment. Stevens spun away and was a good 30 feet away from Claude Loiselle. But just because they're arguing with each other doesn't mean that they should get penalties. That, I think, is ridiculous.
Well, it's only going to be minors for unsportsmanlike conduct. First, I had thought those calls might have been for a 10-minute misconduct penalty. But they are minors for unsportsmanlike conduct at 18:39.
The play wasn't set. The face-off wasn't ready. There was really nothing that those two were doing except jawing at each other. Why take two quality players off the ice for something like that?
Well, with Scott's credit, he at least got out of there.
Yeah, look at all the good it did. I mean, he could have gotten in there and started jostling around with them, using the stick on each other. Hogarth would have liked that better.
Hogarth ruling that the game is always underway. The game is always on, whether the play is on or not. We're in the final minute of play in the period. Here's Ledyard throwing it out to center ice to Bobby Gould. Gould flips it across the line, back into the corner. Hatcher races into the corner. He's down, and it's picked up by Verbeek. After tying up for Beeks. 40 seconds to go in the period. Hatcher overskates the puck, and now Aaron Brott brings it ahead to center ice. Grant Ledyard back to chase it. Now Hatcher's down and has had his stick knocked away. Play has been stopped with 31 seconds left, and we have a holding penalty coming against the Devils, Aaron Brott. Time of the call, 19:29.
Excuse me, Mike. Hatcher was down deep trying to make the play as the Devils cleared the zone. Hatcher coming out trying to get back to help out defense partner Grant Ledyard, and Broughton seen an opportunity to slow Hatcher down, and a little too much of him. Got him completely down to the ice, and Hogarth makes the call for holding.
Wolanin, Patrick Sundstrom, Dale Hunter, and Ivan Korovo are all now out of the penalty boxes.
That was number 10, Aaron Broughton. 2 minutes for holding at 19:20.
So now only Broughton in the box for New Jersey, while Loiselle and Stevens have both been sent to the dressing rooms to serve their time with so little left on the clock. Gary Galley over to Larry Murphy. Here comes Galley to center ice. Bounces it inside the Devils zone, and Sorello's back to take it. Back to neutral territory. Galley drives it in. Up the boards now for Murphy. Into the corner goes Ridley. Tries to center for Hunter. A shot by Galley blocked as time runs out. And the Capitals score the only goal of this second period. Dave Christian with his 4th of the playoffs from Kelly Miller. And the Capitals have taken the lead 3-1 over the New Jersey Devils. More Stanley Cup coverage coming your way after these messages right here on DC.